Here we are, Tuesday Night Live, episode 1. Welcome, dudes. Um, hey, I'm right on time. So, this is it. This is our first Tuesday Night Live, but I'm going to bring on a dude or two here in just a moment, and we're going to see what happens. The goal of this is one, member engagement. Two, this group has the most diverse bunch of dudes collectively, probably in one place than any place that exists, and it has the capability to share and spread knowledge far beyond what we even potentially could know exist from some dudes' perspectives, right? Some of us we find something and we hone in on it, and then we dump our wallet out to them for whoever it is, whatever it is. One that's going around right now is Gary Brecka, and bless that man, right? If what he's got going on, I'm not saying one bad thing. Our family supports him and does stuff, but it's like people hone in and they don't ever see anything else, and it makes you wonder, like, what else is there? What are we missing? And so we're going to build off this. Some nights are just going to be hangout sessions. Some nights are going to be very educational. Some nights I'm going to slam you with some medical knowledge, because what I'm learning in this certified personal trainer course it's key. It's crucial stuff, guys. And a lot of the things that I've been saying, man, you fact check me and I'm right. And we're doing that in here. So we're just all up in our level. You guys are making me up my level. People have reached out and said that they're up in their level. And so that's what this is going to do. Tuesday Night Live. There's already a handful of guys. I talked to another guy today, and he's got a story. And I said, hey, man, I want to bring you on this Tuesday Night Live. And he's like, it's like, no, here's the deal. We're all doing it. So, all right, I'm going to bring on Mr. Michael Shepard while Jared Stice figures out how to join. And says unable to add guest. That's cool.
So looks like I've got Jared coming on. Michael, I'm going to wait till he's on. Hello, Jared.
Hello, Samuel. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you this evening?
Good. Coming to you a little
Um,
bit from the basement.
yeah, I like it. Those aren't wires. Those are water lines. Um, so I'm going to holler at you for a minute while we try to see if Michael can send an invite. But welcome to Tuesday Night Live and Dude Reset, episode 1. We're here. We made it. Like, this is over 2 years in the making. We've been talking about this and that and the other, and what are we going to do? What are we not going to do? And so here we are. We're doing it. And even if it took a minute and we don't know what we're doing just yet, here we are doing it. And God dang it, that means something. So I got to
Yep.
put on my little readers because we're old.
That's
And so anyway, I just want to give a shout out to Jared, and I just want to ask you a quick question and just say why do you choose to participate in Dude Reset? What is Dude Reset to you that you want to actually participate? Why do you care?
probably the first part of it is privacy. My wife hates when I look for accountability online in the public's eye. How about that? And so when we started talking about having a little private group, that was nice. And then I said it, I guess, in that answer is accountability. And I think we all struggle with the same things. And then also when you do overcome a struggle or you have a reset and you do something, who do you share it with? There's only one fist bump coming from the people around you that see it. And so this is kind of that group for me. Be in the struggle, celebrate the wins, whatever it might be.
Fair. I like that one. Um, and for you guys that are just kind of new or joining this Dude Reset thing, this started as a very faint idea 3 years ago, and Dude Reset's now a little over 2 years old. Jared has been instrumental in a lot of this growth. He has also, in that amount of time, had some ups and downs struggles, and that's part of what we're going to get into tonight. Not on a not on a crazy in-depth thing, but in a 2 year time span, um, what struggles I know a couple, and I'm not digging, but what
Sure.
struggles do you see that you've dealt with? Some that you like, name one that you've overcome, and one struggle that you have not overcome yet. And it doesn't have to be, it can be whatever you think, but dude reset related, because we want to convey this on a level of like, we're all real, we're all human, we all got stuff. Like, if you're seeing a mental health person or something, you're dealing with childhood traumas, by all means, this is not the place for that. Um, we can facilitate places to find and get you where you need to go if you are watching that, because we're all overcoming it. But what I mean in that is a dude reset, the struggles, the things that we've talked about, the things that you've written down at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year we're like, I got close, or I did do that, or I didn't even get close to that one this year. I'm gonna have to put it on next year. So lay it on me right quick.
Sure. Before you jump into the struggles, I saw Michael was joining us there. I'm going to have you invite him while I'm talking real quick, and we'll get him teed up here. I think originally Sam and I started with the planner deal, and I struggled to make action items become real. And it was actually that, professionally, I do really well. And then personally, it may make me stop just a little bit. What's up, Michael? Gonna
Good
keep
evening,
you
gentlemen. How y'all doing?
good. We can hear you great. Just
Good.
on those struggles, I mean, I think I'll say it was the personal stuff not taking place because I was focusing so much on professional stuff. But then on a professional level, I wasn't taking myself to the next level. And when I did, I wasn't sharing it. So you and I started with just kind of a roadmap. Talked to a guy yesterday about, just a life plan. And I think that's probably where I succeeded the most was I want to change. Everything seems like it's unable to be achieved until you start breaking it down. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? So I think for me, what I would talk about is that struggle there. It wasn't fitness. It wasn't anything else. It was professional development for me and separating myself from what I was doing to what I knew I was capable of.
I like it, Michael. I'm gonna mirror that question back to you, because there again, you've been kind of one of these since the beginning, fellas, and in the 2 years, little over 2 years that you've been involved in Dude Reset. And there again, I don't know what you saw or heard or don't know, but like, don't dwell in anything crazy in depth. We're opening this up to show that dudes have struggles, that we overcome things. We set goals and we fail. We set little goals that should have been bigger. So just on the Dude Reset level of your existence, what's a struggle you've overcome, and what's a struggle that you kind of are still struggling with within this world?
Uh, okay. The biggest struggle that I had to overcome in the last 2 years, it's really been three, but it ended up being the biggest struggle that I've had in my life was self-love. That was the biggest one. Um, I did not have that. I wasn't even aware that I didn't love myself, which was like the biggest mind fuck of it all. Was just loving myself. And then when I realized that, it took me a long time to integrate it. I'm still integrating it because I'm catching myself doing things that show that I don't love myself, because if I myself, I would not do those things. And so, it's just awareness and being present, and really, there's a process that I've found that works. And the first thing is the awareness, to become aware of it, and then is to label it, to put a label on what it is that is off, and then is to take time and feel it. A lot of times as men, we try to push it to the side. We try to either buffer it, shove it down, dismiss it, ignore it, avoid it, any of those words you want to put on it. And so to feel it, to just sit in it and feel that emotion, feel that feeling, feel that anxiety, feel that that lack of self-worth, and then move through that. One of the things that I'm still struggling with is is my dad's voice. That's one of the things that I still struggle with, is when I feel up to doing something, I have that pessimistic father voice in my head telling me why I can't do something. That would be the one that I'm still struggling with.
Great. That's a perfect segue into my next scenario. I'm going to just say this outward to both of you. Stice, I'd like you to go first just because we got a little flow to it. And then Michael, please jump in afterwards. But this is almost a call to action to the dudes in the group. And as we know, we put something down like this, it doesn't go away. It goes from here to the YouTube channel. But so we can reference back to this. But this is Jared, I know you've talked about things like doing air squats, and it's like when you get down to the root to it, you get bored, right? And you're like, I'm bored doing this. Like I don't want to do anymore. Can I? Sure. Do I want to? No. And that's when the mind takes over. So stow that, right? And then Michael, on the other side of the fence, like you've been a pro to semi-pro bodybuilder for 20 years, and how at this age are you able to still get after it, store it, and then deliver that to dudes? So we got two scenarios, but my call to action is for the guys that don't want to get on the calls, they don't want to participate, they don't want to get bored, they don't want to try new things. So Jared, from your side of the fence, from the boredom side, and then Michael's your side of the fence from the I've been doing this so long, but now my body's not doing what I want it to do, or it's not recovering like I want it to recover, or I'm not as whatever, but you still show up, you still do it. Like where is the dividing line in how do you get a guy to even show up for himself? A, two, how do you get him to overcome the boredom? And three, where does that feed in to like, I'm never ever gonna stop this? And it doesn't have to be fitness. It's turned into that in this group a little bit, but it's also professional development, like Jared said. So where is that line on like, I'm never going to stop feeding myself? Why are men truly scared to show up?
Yeah.
Why do they quit when they get bored? And what does it take to keep that fuel going? This is fantastic.
Okay.
Jared.
You asked like 75 things in that statement. But what I would say, I'm going to jump right in it. Michael mentioned a minute ago defining it. I had a real hard time defining what I needed. And on the fitness side, I mean, ADHD, let's say that that's what it is. I try to say that I'm multitasking, do 1,000 things at once. But as soon as I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a 15-minute workout. No, I'm not. And as soon as I say, I'm going to do air squats for 5 minutes. No, I'm not. I start doing air squats. I look at the coffee pot and I'm like, I should make some coffee. And I can't stick to anything. What I have found on the fitness side is the way that I do best is just packing a fanny pack, packing some water, packing some snacks, putting my headphones on and leaving. And I can go walk for 9 miles or whatever it might be. I can leave. If I go to the gym, I might go to the gym and do the same thing that I was going to do if I stayed at my house. But if I stay at my house, I see all of it. So I've probably had to create separation from the norm or what's there after it's defined and say, okay, here's what I'm doing today. I'll say along with that, I'm having a real hard time with rest days because I haven't replaced that fitness side with something else. I also, in the beginning, you know this, Sam, this was 21, I think, 21 or 22. I said, okay, I could start working out or I could start running. Everybody always said I had a runner's body. I was never a heavy guy, but I was also never real muscular. And so I just got a coach, an accountability coach. It was so cheap, $100 a month, but it made me accountable to a person. And that person would call me or text me or whatever it was. And then I realized like I'd just take off and I'd do some intervals and I sucked at it at first. But then you realize once you pass the 3 mile or 3.5 mile mark, then I was kicked in. Then I was zoned in. I was in the realm. And most of the time I was thinking nothing. I'm the guy that listens to my actual playlist, not podcasts. Podcasts take me to the wrong place unless I already know what it's going to be about. I start hyper focusing and trying to rewind and do these things. So I had to separate fitness. I had to separate educating myself, and I had to define it. And that calendar changes a lot. I'm going to get into Smash later. You know what I do with that. But my words is Smash that I use to shift, measure, adjust, and shit happens. So That's what I did first. That's kind of what the group brought me to, was acknowledging my weaknesses and why I wasn't going to the next thing, what I needed to do, the baby steps, and then the accountability helps. I mean, as dumb as it is, I mean, I post stuff on stories. I'm very much a one-sided social media guy. I don't go look at everything all the time, but I'll cast some stuff out there about myself or about my family. I don't go look to see who saw my story, but I do check Dude Reset. I look to see who was in there. I look to see who commented. I look to see who said thumbs up, and we've talked about the engagement stuff there. So I'm going to stop at that unless you got anything else, Sam. I think that's my whole answer.
I like it. Michael.
Yeah. So, all right. So I've had a good experience, and the good experience was I broke my wrist. This is the first time I've ever broke a bone, and I broke this back a month ago at the beginning of December. This has been the longest in 20 years that I haven't worked out. And it was tough. If this would have happened to me 10 years ago, before I am at a place with God and with myself, it would have been, it would have looked nothing like this, and I wouldn't have said it was good. But it was good because it gave me an opportunity for polarity. For the like you said, Sam, for the last 20 years, I've been in the gym 5 to 7 days a week. This is just what I do. This is something that I love. I love working out and fitness because it's one of the best things that I've found that you can really see the 1% better. You can see the difference between 1% better every day. And I didn't realize 20 years ago that society would be in such an addicted way for instant gratification. We want everything quick. There's probably people that aren't even watching this anymore because it's not 2 minutes long. Everything has to be immediate, and you don't get that in the gym. And that yields respect. It's a personal respect more than it is a societal one, but even society respects it because you can't get this overnight. You can't cheat it. You can't pay for it. It has to be earned through sweat and effort. So that was the reason that I enjoyed it originally. Now, for the last 30 days, I haven't worked out, and I get to feel and see what 80% of Americans feel and look like. I look in the mirror, I see my muscles depleting. I don't see the striations. I don't feel good, sleeping all the time, lethargic. Just so much easier to throw in the towel when you don't have a reason to fight. If you're not going to the gym and you're not trying, your excuses have a big, comfortable bed to lay in. And, why do people not show up? Because of their ego. It's 100% ego. That same ego can flip. I don't know if y'all have watched Over the Top, but what I'm picturing right now is Arnold or Sylvester Stallone standing in front of the 18-wheeler when he's at the final scene for arm wrestling, and they're interviewing him and they're asking him, why do you turn your hat around? And he says, well, it's like a switch. It's like a switch on a truck. When he turns that hat backwards, he goes from being this calm, put together guy into a fucking killer, right? And your ego can either be a killer, and it can be the baddest dude in the gym, and you're going to lift and you're going to do. And, sometimes they say don't go in ego lifting. Well, if you're somebody watching this and you haven't been into the gym, you need to be that ego. You need to quit being that weak ass mentality person that doesn't think that you deserve it, that you can't do it. That ego keeps you scared. That ego keeps you small. That ego keeps you from showing up in the highest capacity that you can. And so why do people not show up? Because their ego. Now you have to understand that the ego is built off of the brain, which is a computing system. And that computing system is made to keep you safe and keep you alive. Telling you to bench press weight that you have never done, your ego is going to be intimidated by it because it's going to protect you and say, no, you're going to tear my chest muscle. Let's not do that. Let's just go watch another episode, right? Because that's safe. But that safety doesn't get you what you really want. So the answer to that, Sam, is the ego, man.
My next thing that it feeds off of both of you guys. There's guys in the group, and I'm not going to call anybody out right now by any means, but they're the ones. Oh, go ahead, Jared. I'd like to see you go. Sorry.
Yeah, real quick. Hey, Kegel, I know you said you couldn't see Michael. I had to jump out and jump back into the group, and that made all three people show up. That
Okay,
might
I
be.
can't see any of y'all, so maybe I'll do that too.
Well, I don't know if you're a guest now, but I don't know. Yeah, I can see all three of you fine, and this is why we're practicing with each other instead of having a doctor or a chiropractor on here yet. But so let us know in the comments, if you can see what's on there. So sorry, Sam, you're about to get to the dudes in the group.
Oh no, you're all right. So there's dudes in the group that are showing up, but their verbiage, their wording, their psyche, it's whooped. They're kicking their own ass and they don't even know it. And this is just a generalized scenario question that I see, and we're having a little round table here. So these guys that are in here and they are showing up, and this is in life, right? If we haven't learned anything, this sample population of 250 dudes right here could be 250 million dudes across the planet. So we just need to understand that, and then we can all move forward. But so the dudes that are doing the thing, but they're just in the motion, and they're not getting the results of this, they're not doing this, that, they're pity partying themselves. Like, this is more for me because I'm a pretty solid motivator, but like, what can we do as our own self, our own man, not trying to kudos somebody else, but what can we do as our own self to like look in the mirror and be like, you bad mamma jamma, because that's all it takes, right? So where is that line on somebody that can say that and somebody that can't say that? What do we need to do? What do we need to do to overcome that? Because the next one's going to be, then we pull the guys off the couch and then we get them to the oh yeah stage, right? So what do we do? You guys move, you guys facilitate, you two specifically, do this stuff. Jared, you kind of do a little bit of a roller coaster ride with it, which you have two boys, like you're doing career things. Like, nobody expects anybody to do anything that they don't need to be doing, but like, how you've got the motivation and the discipline. Sometimes life just gets in the way. Michael, you've got the time, you've got the discipline, you've got the longevity of the consistency that nothing's going to break your chain. So where do we get those guys that are looking in the mirror and going, I'm just not there yet. I'm just not there yet. For me, I will speak real quickly, then I'll let it go. When I first started back in the gym, it was everything just to get me in there. And I said, I'm not quitting. And that was my only mentality. I can only attest that to maybe like some Marine Corps stuff, maybe some dad stuff, maybe, just that old dude raising stuff. But like, my whole thing was like, I'm not quitting. I am not quitting. I am not quitting. And so by that mentality, then the dudes in the group, by you guys, now I'm speaking to everybody, you guys motivated me beyond belief, because now it's like, I can't show up and be a little bitch. If I don't show up, they're not going to show up. So how do we do that? How do we get that confidence into somebody so when they do walk in the room, energy's them. It's their room now. How do you do that? That happens. And the guys that want that need that. Go, Stice.
Sam, go invite Michael Smith or Shepard back in. He kicked himself out, so you have to do that again. Jacob Smith commented over here, yesterday's problems are yesterday's alone. Tomorrow's problems haven't happened. Focus on the today and now and build on that. That's probably what I'm looking at, and I'm coaching all my kids' activities. I think me coaching kids really has taught me some different things, maybe some things I needed to be reminded about. And golf, honestly, as soon as I hit that bad shot or as soon as they made a bad play, it's done. Now all we can do is focus on the next thing. I had a lot of time in November. A lot of you guys know that. I had a lot of time available November, December, and still through today to get back to myself. And that's different when all you actually have to do is worry about yourself from 8:30 to 3:30 every day. That changes things a lot. I got to the point where I'm real bad about sleeping. I will stay awake at night and think about all the things that I didn't do or make my to-do list, but then I'm not getting it up. I'm not writing it down. And so it was just in my head, just throbbing in my head, all the things that were my shortcomings, my own shortcomings, not related to professional, work, stuff at home. And I scrutinized myself. This planner, this brain box that we started doing in 2022, and I have all of them still, is huge. That was my thing, is I had to write it down, define it, and then I had to do it. I got over 40 miles in running and walking in November, and I needed to get back to that. That also gave me a lot of time for podcasts and some learning and things like that. Um, so I've gotten better at taking rest days. I'm really bad about when I don't rest. I'm like, way to go, screwed it up. I had to define it as a rest day. And now my two alarms are set for 4:30 and 5:15. So if I'm sleeping in, I'm sleeping in until 5:15. Well, what I find is if I don't set that 4:30 alarm, that's fine. I got a 5:15 to 6:30. I wake up about 4:50. That's made me think about my go to sleep time. I've told my wife, she knows the difference when I'm engaged with set and engaged with what I'm doing, and she knows when I'm disengaged, like you said, the roller coaster thing. And it probably matches some of my kids' sports. It probably matches when we're transitioning and there's two different activities going on. When I'm preparing for something, and those are excuses, but they're also reasons that we aren't first. I can't always be first, even though I want to be. And Sam, I mean, great job to you, and Michael. I see you, and I still haven't learned what all you do, but when you guys can do so much for yourself, I can almost look at it and be like, those guys are running so far ahead of me. I will never catch them. But that's wrong. And then when I see other dudes in the group coming in and going, hey guys, I've been sitting real quietly, but I wanted to tell you where I'm at. I've been on this journey. Here's where I started. Here's where I'm at. And it's not just weights. It's not just, gaining mass or anything else, because we're all going up and down all the time. This ebb and flow is normal for life. So probably like Michael said, I needed some self love. I had to forgive myself for the days that I needed rest. I needed to define them as rest. I say that as my chest hurts when I hit these muscles. And then the other days, I need to say, I'm going to kill it today. Today's my day to kill it. This schedule looks great. And I had to write down my time for myself. If it's not in there, it's not happening. And if the sun's up, I'm not getting it. I don't do anything for myself after 6:30 a.m. I've already returned from the gym. 6:30, I'm a family man. I'm showering. Breakfast is ready at 7. Let's get these dudes out the door. Let's go make some jack. I get done at 5. I'm back engaged with them. I'm in the sports. And, about 9 p.m., I could say it's back to me, but it's not. My wife needs that time to feel loved. I connect with her, and then it's time for sleep because I got to be back up at 4:50 or 5:15. That was a big one.
Nailed it.
So
How do you get the dudes to pull off their panty weights and be the guy that commands the attention in the room?
so I'm gonna piggyback off of what he was just saying about all of the commitments that you have. This is a dude reset, and a dude is a man. And one book that I have found pivotal in my life is the book The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. That book I've read 3 times in the last 2 years. It is powerful. And the reason that I've read it is because I did not have any. I can honestly say I've thought about this a few times. I can't think of one masculine superior man that I experienced in my life. And we've had I have a lot of great men. That doesn't take away from any of the men, but they were not superior. They were not doing the things that he was just talking about. And it's hard. One of the key things is we don't get days off. We do not get days off. If you want your woman to be in her authentic feminine self and to surrender and feel secure, you have got to show up. Because because women are emotional beings. That's why they'll tell you, yeah, honey, let's go do this. And then a month later they say, I don't want to do it. And it's like, you said you wanted to do it. Yeah, because when you asked me a month ago, I was feeling good. Now I don't feel good. Now I don't want to do it. And that's as far as they go. They don't go deeper and logically like we do. So as a man, you have to show up. And that's a pretty difficult thing to do because life can get you down. And that's just what we have to deal with. Like, if you can just swallow that, process that, and see what he's saying in that book, you will understand that. And then you've got to show up. So you got to show up. Now, the first person you have to show up for is for yourself. You cannot show up for your partner, your coworkers, society if you're not showing up for yourself. You got to take care of yourself. And you're not taking care of yourself by eating processed food. You're not taking care of yourself by letting 20 pounds get on your body in a month, in a year or 2 years or 3 years. I don't care how long it is. You're slipping, right? I'm 42 years old now. And I could have used this message back when I was in my 30s. It's not one more day, it's one less day. If you can look at life like that, then you're going to quit wasting time, because that's all you're doing. And so for the men that need to be motivated, the truth is, you got to do it yourself. That's the hard part, right? Like, you can see the passion in Sam. You can see it. You can see it in a lot of the men that are showing up on this call. The ones that keep showing up, they're motivated. And you can take a spark, right? It's like a light, like a lantern. If you can think of a lantern, Sam was the lantern, and he lit that candle in each of our lives that made us want to keep going. Then Jared starts posting, right? Then you start seeing that and you say, man, if he can do it, I can do it. And now you're seeing all of these lanterns. And now when you look around, you're seeing light coming up. So you can be that light. You just have to allow that spark to happen, but then you have to continue to fuel it. And how do you fuel it? You start fueling it by showing up. Something that I thought about today, because this is my second day back in the gym, and I knew I was going to get on this call. And I thought, I actually thought of this: 100 days. Tell yourself for 100 days. I mean, I remember when me and Sam had this talk, and look at him. He didn't stop. You don't listen to what he says. You got to feel it. And I could feel that he was serious, and he was. If you can give yourself 100 days of no non-negotiable, no negative talk. Every time you I don't care, go back to basics. Wear a rubber band. Anytime that you tell yourself no, or you make an excuse, pop that band. Quit making excuses. Start showing up for yourself. You take shits. How many shits do you take a day? Probably 2 or 3. How many times do you talk negative to yourself? You probably talk negative to yourself more than you take a shit. And you got to stop doing that. Stop shitting on yourself. Start believing in yourself. You're not going to believe yourself in the beginning because it's new. It's hard. That's why it's respectful, because it earns respect, because this isn't easy. This is non-linear. So remember that it's going to be tough, but every day you pick up momentum. Now I'm going to talk about, for the guys that need this lesson. The world either expands or collapses. That is universal truth. We are either expanding or collapsing. And momentum is more important than motivation. When you get on that bike on day 1 and you ride that bike 5 miles, it was hard. You get on the next day, it's a little bit easier. You're picking up momentum. You are expanding. You get on the next week. Now that 5 miles can turn into 7 miles. I barely could do 5 miles. Now I can do 7. You're picking up momentum. You are expanding. You get a flat tire, and it takes you a week to get that tire filled because of excuses, because of whatever. Now you get back on that bike. You've done collapsed. The momentum is gone. Now you got to get back going. Anybody that's ever gone through anything in life knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I'll quit rambling on that, but that's it. I would say momentum, continue to expand, and then the other key is like what Jared said back a couple questions ago. Finding a group like this, finding people that, that whole You look at the 5 people around you, that's going to dictate kind of how your life is. If you want to get in shape, you should find groups like this and then get involved. Observing is fine, but that nervousness that you feel, that anxiety, that I don't want to talk. These guys know so much. Oh, they're so much further along than me. I'm never going to be able to do that. That shit will keep you small for the rest of your life. The only like person that thinks you're dumb or that's just you. That's just your ego, again, trying to protect yourself, trying to keep you safe. But that's not what you came here for. You didn't come on this planet to be an NPC. You didn't come on this planet to just be another person just walking down the street. You didn't come here to be the 80% that's out of shape. You came here to be a badass. So start being a badass. You can do it. We can all do it. I'm nobody special. Sam is nobody special. The only thing that makes us special is, in the eyes of people that haven't done something like this, is that we did it. But we were just like you before we did it. And now we did it. You can be just like us. It just takes effort.
I like it. I'm going to say something about myself right quick. And this will be cool because there's a lot of new guys that'll see this. But like when this group started, when I went to go join a gym for the first time in like 15 years or something crazy, I was scared. I was scared shitless. I was like, I don't even know what to do. It was weird. I was scared. I was like flushed and everything when I went in there. And I went into a white-haired Planet Fitness in Florida. There was 300 people that were over 85 years old in the gym. What am I scared of? Why? What matters, right? And so I went from like owning calisthenics, doing 500 push-ups and 1,000 squats in a 5-mile run, right? Like, let's do it. But then like the day it's like, oh, I got to go to the gym. I cowered. I was this big. I didn't know what to do, right? Fast forward, I'll stop right now and I'll flex. You want to flex party? Like, let's do it. You know what I mean? I'll go to any gym anywhere and work out with anybody. I'm working on my certified personal trainer certificate right now because of this group. I didn't have any. That wasn't in the wheel. That wasn't in the cards. That wasn't on my bingo card, as they say, in some little circles, right? So this group has power that is I don't even know what the word is. Like, dudes don't even know the power of this group. Yeah. All you got to do is plug in. And I think the word plug in might mean to participate, right? And so it's like, if somebody posts a workout and they're like, man, I ran, 5 miles at a 6-minute pace and did 300 pull-ups, and man, I'm feeling good today. Cool. Good for you, bud. Hey, did you do 1 push-up today and you got your lazy butt up off the couch? Instead of sitting there and hitting the next episode, you got up, walked outside, maybe walked down the street. Maybe you just went outside when you never did before, right? That's what we're talking about. That's where this stuff starts. It doesn't start being a professional bodybuilder in a gym. Jack, let me tell you, that ain't even the end result. That is a product of a creation that somebody put effort into that had nothing to do with the gym. I'll tell you that right now. So Jared, I saw your hand go up. I like that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit like a couple things real quick. We got a couple new guys here listening and commenting. Guys, comment in there so we can know who's here watching, which is great. Michael earlier said, he's not important. Sam's not important. He didn't say I wasn't important because he doesn't know me well enough, but none of us are important. None of us are special. We're all just human dudes trying to figure it out. But some of us won't say we need a reset. And if you don't need a reset, that's great. You can come and contribute still, that kind of thing. I think it's great. Sam also needs motivation. And this is one of the things that I said. I told Sam, I said, Sam, we got to start talking in the group. We got to start doing lives regularly. One of us got to be in charge of it. Sam will zone out every once in a while and go radio silent. I'll call him, what are you doing? And sometimes he's disappointing the group. It's normally that he's still jiving, but maybe he's not feeling it back from us. I said, Sam, we are all busy. This is on social media is where we talk to you, and social media is my toxic point. I try to not engage in it. Sam, today I was talking to my buddy and told him we were doing this thing tonight. And he goes, you know, you started talking to me about Sam in November of 23. And I added him to the group later. Doesn't matter who he is. But he said, the way Sam looks today compared to what Sam looked like in November of 23, he said, his body has changed. His face has changed. Not just his hair, not his physical self. Your body looks different. Like, that's what we're after, is these kind of changes that come from being here and making choices. And they don't all have to be 100% positive. You know, I'm sitting here sipping a beer and a whiskey while we're talking, but we're all thinking about what we're doing. We're thinking about what we put in our bodies, what we consume, what we put in our minds. You talk about TV. I haven't watched TV since like 2004. I wouldn't have any in my house if my family didn't need them. But you know, that's probably part of my other thing where I'm always trying to do something. So we all need that motivation. We all need that accountability. Back to you guys. Sorry.
Yeah. So I wanted to share. I want to share as well. Thank both of y'all for sharing that, Sam. So I had a music festival that I went to at the end of October, and I had 7 close friends of mine come out, all men. We had one couple that was a married couple, but outside of that, it was all men, all around this age, from like 34 up to 47. And I've talked to each of these guys offline, one-on-one. That's kind of what I do. I hold space, and you know, it's interesting because everybody likes to do that surface level talk. I call it surface level. You know, it's let's talk about sports, let's talk about girls, let's talk about cars, let's talk about work, let's talk about politics, and maybe those things matter, but I like depth. I like the real. Let's pull those masks off, like what we're doing right now. Let's get vulnerable. You want to see a real man? Look for a man who can be vulnerable and tell you the truth. That takes balls. It's hard to do. And when I'm sitting on these one-on-one calls, they call me and they're going through it, right? They're going through it and they're struggling, and we talk, and I got to get them all out here at the campground, and we all sat around the fire, and they felt safe because of me. And then I said, listen, we've all got our stuff. Like, we're going to go around one at a time, and we're going to talk about it. What's going on? And it was absolutely beautiful from my vantage point, because I know them all, I love them all, and I know they're all struggling. But when they all met up that first day or two, we were all just having a good time, going and listening to music, going and doing this. And then we sit by grandfather fire. Then we start talking. And then it starts coming out. And one by one, they all start to see what I've seen over the last 10, 15 years doing what I do. We're all the same. We're all the same. We're all carrying the same fucking bags, man. We're all going through the same stuff. We all struggle with the same issues. They may be a little different, but if you can peel back that layer and get to the meat of it, it's suffering. It's attachment to things that do not serve us. It's bad habits. It's toxic patterns. It's childhood traumas. You wouldn't believe how many people have childhood traumas. And if we get into them, I'm not going to tonight, but they can really derail us on life, especially if they were prior to even our egos being formed. And then how do you deal with it? How do you deal with society? How do you deal with interactions? How do you deal with yourself? When you dealt with something as a child and you never had anybody to talk to and you never healed and went through it, that keeps you feeling less than, that keeps you feeling like you don't deserve it. And when we sat there and we talked, we all bonded. And then there was a bachelor party like at the campsite across from us, and they were observing this. And they were like, hey, Shep, man, hey, listen, this guy's like, dude, this is fucking awesome, man. We were at a bachelor party. Dude, hey, Brad, did you see this? They're doing this. We need to do this. We, as men, we need what we are doing right now. And we need that camaraderie. We need that kinship. And we don't do it if we don't communicate. We don't do it if we don't open up and say, you know how it seems good because I got a nice vehicle and I got this and that, but really my life is shit, right? And we don't know that because we don't talk about it. We just act like everything's good. And then afterwards, they all bond. And I told them, okay, well, the next day we had another fire, and we wrote what we don't want, what we're going to leave, and we put it in the fire. We do that whole ritual. And I told them, I just connected all of y'all. None of you knew each other, but you have to build that bridge. You can come to me, that's fine, but you had no self-worth. You had no self-worth. You had sexual trauma. You had sexual trauma. Y'all have more in common than me and you, right? So you need to build those bridges. You need to connect. You need to connect with people outside of me, outside of Jared, outside of Sam. You need to start commenting, start liking each other's stuff. You got to pay attention to the psychological things that are happening. Start engaging. Even if you don't know somebody, get to know them. Why do you think when you go to church on Sundays, they tell you to look to your neighbor left and right and say, hey, I'm glad you're here? That's so you can start connecting, so you can start building a community. We cannot make you go to the gym. Sam can't call every single person and say, what are you doing today? I'm trying to hold you accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable and then start looking for other people outside. I saw somebody commented saying they hadn't been in months and they just talked to somebody and they're going to be going and working out tomorrow. That is the fire right there. That's what we have to start doing. And that's all I have for that.
Wow, I like it. We are now actively engaging in the group. People are actively engaging. This is a true men's circle. And I think if we keep at this is only going to grow and it's only going to expand. Guys are going to see more guys getting more vulnerable. They're going to see more people with more of the same struggles. When you're sitting there in church, you're sitting there on the crapper in the morning, you're like, I just don't even know what to do. Like, I'm doing the best I can, but I'm drowning. I'm clawing. Like, we're all doing that. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a few people that have cracked the code and made it to the other side. But the reality is, if you're watching this, there might be a couple of ballers in here, but like we're all eating out of the same jar of mayonnaise, as they say. So, dudes, I think we'll build off this week. We're just coming up at 45 minutes into it. I think we've kind of built up and we've powered up, and now you kind of felt that release in the group. We've got comments coming in. We got, things are happening. So I say same bat time, same bat channel next week, and we'll see who wants to jump on. I'll start it, and anybody that's in here tonight, invite somebody else next week. And if you want to get on, request to get on, and we'll bring you on and talk, because there's a guy that I talked to today, and he's a hot rod motorsports guy, and he wrecked a race car a couple of years ago, and it spun him like in life. And he said, at that age and time, he was in his best shape and life was just grooving. And he goes, like you get hurt, you hurt your back, like then you start drinking and you start eating like shit, and then your mentality, your mental capacity, it starts to diminish. This is all real things that we all do. Michael broke his wrist. It doesn't have to be, I didn't break my wrist. Well, I broke my back, or I hurt my knee, or I whatever. I got fired, or I quit my job, or it's all a collective thing. And so that's what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to keep bringing to the table. So anybody that has been in the outskirts of this thing, man, show up and reap the benefits, I guess is the way to say it. Like, don't be scared of getting involved or participating or showing up to a gym or starting a new online class or doing something to better yourself. Quit being scared of it, because that's its own psychological warfare that we'll get into at another time. But dudes, great interaction, guys. Thanks. Any last comments, and we'll get out of here? Yeah, go ahead, Jared.
I'm not ready to end it yet. You can, but we got some great comments here, and John Collins, you're asking some stuff right there. I'm going to tell everybody, go back through the group. All this that's already there, already exists. You can go in the top of the group and search. I'm going to tell you how to use Facebook right now, as dumb as that is. Go to the group, go to the top, search, type in mental, type in whatever you want, a workout, type in routine. You got two guys right here that are literally, their professional journey, they are coaches. So you just type them a message and go, hey, here's what I'm struggling with. Here's what I need. T-Pain came out and said it, write it down. If you plan to learn, you must learn to plan. I'm talking about the Brain Box. Sam doesn't know it yet, but I got a Dude Reset planner coming. It says Dude Reset on it. It has everything I want that I've built since 2022. It was $92 a piece, so I didn't order everybody one. I don't know why they're that much, but I'm just gonna try it. And I think everybody's journey is different on how you hold yourself accountable. And then it's those dumb little wins. When you look in the group and you see me walking my dog, do you know I took a picture of my dog and sent it to you guys? It was because I was out there doing it and it was 5 a.m. Couldn't even tell that we were out there, you know. But somebody else needs to go, you know what? I got a dog. I'll go walk that dog. Let me do it. Like, make those baby steps. Every time I do something, getting up early helps me so much because when 8 o'clock rolls around, I'm 3 hours ahead of everybody else. So that's my big differentiator. Sometimes I
Yeah.
get up, don't even know what I'm going to do in the morning. So I'm just going to get up. I'll go sit in the living room and do some stretches until I decide what's important. And if nothing's important, I'll do stretches for an hour and a half. No music, no nothing, just laying on the floor, stretching it out because my God, we need that every day. But let's keep this for just 1 second before you dismiss us all, Sam. I appreciate it. We said it was till 9. We don't have to end early.
Oh, you're right.
What,
You're
what do you
right.
guys got? What do you guys got to wrap up real quick? We got people are
So
still coming. That's good.
and I'd like to plug. I have my so I'm on a few different groups. I've got my own Tuesday night group that I do just to connect. We just talk about God and everything else, that anything that has to do with God, and serving. And so I may not be on here all the time, but I thought this call was an hour previous and not at this time. I thought it was Eastern, not Central. So thank you for inviting me on, Sam. This was outstanding. I'm going to try to be on as much as I can, but I have another men's group that I do, and this is needed. This energy tonight is really what makes a big difference. The other men's group, there's 3 different groups, and I'm in one of the 3. And the other groups have low energy, and they're bringing people over to our group because those low energy. So, the energy attracts, right? It attracts. Again, that is that momentum and that is that expansion. I'm also doing my first men's gathering for this year in North Florida at Spirit of the Sewanee. It's the campground I'm a member at, and we're going to do that the first weekend of February. I know most of y'all are in the mid east or Midwest. But if you know of any men that are around Florida that would like to come, it's going to be a pretty good gathering. We're going to do some cold plunging, breath work, meditation. We're going to do some hiking, and then we're going to sit around the fire and do what we did back in October because the feedback was excellent from it. So if anybody would be interested in that, I would like to do that. I don't know if y'all have seen anything about. This is the year of the fire horse, but in Chinese astrology, that's what this is, and this year brings a lot of action. This year is all about action, so make sure you are moving and being in action, and that doesn't have to be physical action, but keep yourself in action. This is a year of abundance if you can stay rooted in it, fellas.
John Collins, I want to reply to your thing about the mental aspect. The easiest thing that I could say if you don't have the confidence or somebody that doesn't have the confidence to get back in after an injury, we kind of spoke on it briefly but didn't answer this question directly, is who do you want to be? And go get it. Begin with the end in mind. That's a Stephen Covey line, 7 Habits of whatever, the highly successful people. But like if you're sitting on a couch and your shoulder, you had rotator cuff surgery, and you're like on week 12 and you're like, or you're on year 4 of week 12, not getting back into it, and you've just submitted to it. I've submitted to being unhealthy. It's a lot to overcome. I get it. But I told Michael, I said, I want to look like this. I want to feel like this. And he said, do this, this, and this. And I did it every single day for 11 and a half months. I didn't care what I felt like. I didn't care what hurt. I didn't care. Nothing, absolutely nothing mattered. And by committing to myself and absolutely tunnel vision to yourself for 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day, the mental capacity, the overcoming, words like confidence and cock diesel is one I like to use. Like you really do. You feel like it's your own thing. You don't compare yourself to anybody else because they're not comparing themselves to you either, right? So it's like how you feel. And it's like when you feel like cock diesel when you walk in a room, that's your room. If it wasn't, it is when you walk in now. And so we touched on that in the beginning, but that's just a direct answer. Is like, who do you want to be? What do you want to look like? How do you want to feel? What do you want to be able to do? Do you want to be able to do triathlons? Do you want to be able to bend over and pick up grandkids? You know, like, because you can tailor anything to what you want to do. And we all need to be doing something. And I'll explain a lot of that more in some educational videos. But I like that question, and that's a great thing to talk about tonight. So hope that helps.
Yeah, Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard. If y'all are, I don't know if any of y'all read or like to look into this stuff. I'll put his name in there so you can look him up. Neville Goddard is an incredible teacher. Your imagination is your reality. That is one of the strongest statements. If you can really sit with that, this is why you tell your kids that they can believe that they can be anything. And do not do like my dad and get them into high school and start telling them, well, this is the reality. The world sucks and everything's against you. That does not help your child. Your imagination is your reality. If you have got to almost be insane about your belief that this is happening. That's what Sam did. That's how he accomplished it. You want to do it? This is what I'm going to do it. And you start seeing yourself already there. You don't think that when I get healed, this is going to happen. I'm already healed. This was meant to happen to me. Thank you so much, universe, for breaking my wrist. This gave me a chance to sit down. I never damned myself. I never damned the world. I never looked for excuses. I just accept it, and I know what's coming. And where I'm going to be next month, I already have it in my head. There is no way that it's not going to happen, because your imagination is your reality. When I won my first bodybuilding show, I had no clue of anything. I just had a coach, and I did exactly what Sam did. I just listened to him. If he told me to eat a dog turd, I would have ate it. Like, if that's what you're telling me, dude, that's what I'm going to do. And every time I would get tired, I literally pretended like I was a kid. I pretended that I was Jay Cutler. I did the same, like every workout that my coach gave me, I did it as if I was a bodybuilder already, because that's what I'm going to be. So I'm not doing what bodybuilders do. I'm being a bodybuilder, right? And you don't have to be a bodybuilder, but if you want to, if it makes it easier, pretend you're a bodybuilder. Go in there just dead ass serious like a bodybuilder would. Work out like a bodybuilder would. Eat your food like a bodybuilder would. And guess what? In a month, you're a bodybuilder, because for the last month you did everything that a bodybuilder would do. So you're a bodybuilder. And start walking around. You don't have to have the ego of it, but you have to have the mindset of it, right? And you have to, that's how thoughts become things. So just think that. When I went through, I would get tired and I would think, what would the overall winner do right now? Because like, he's out there in a gym, somebody's going to win. Well, I'm going to tell you what the overall winner is going to do. He's going to do what I'm doing, because I'm the overall winner. And then I would bang out past failure, right? And then I get on, and it's just, there was no other way than me winning that show. And I won the show, and then I won overall. Blew my fucking mind when it happened. But then when I look back at it after a few years of hindsight, and I'm like, man, because I went on the next show and I didn't win. And then I look and I'm like, what was the difference? The only difference was that I was so ignorantly naive to the competition that I just believed that I was going to win. And I didn't just lay around. Like, I showed up. I did everything. I ate every single calorie, literally every grain of rice. I would lick my bowl clean. I would gag, drink water, and get like goosebumps and just swallow chunks of food. Anything that I had to do, I did it. That's the drive. Be hungry, gentlemen.
Sam, as a quick recap, we talked about a few things, but when do you go out to Big Hill and run on the dam? You want to invite people out to something like that?
Bring it, dude. Sundays are usually about 1 o'clock.
Sundays about 1 p.m. Okay.
It's a give or take. It's after church. You know what I mean? We're free flowing. If you got a
Yep.
schedule, you might want to chill that thing out around me.
No, I get it. You guys need to reach out to Sam if you want to do something like that. T-Pain just reached out, said he's going to be in town Sunday or Saturday. I'm sorry. That's great. Sorry about your aunt's passing. I saw that. Michael, you shared about your book. I put that in the comments. We got some other things in the comments. So all that's great. Thank you guys for doing this. Sammy's Yoga Sesh is where all this gets posted, so it does still exist later. A lot of people saying we should put it out there somewhere as a podcast, whatever. It's going to exist on Sammy's Yoga Sesh right now on YouTube, so you can go check that out if you want to. But connect with the group, guys. The call to action, you can invite some people. You can post and say where you're at and what your goals are. A lot of times today we said 100 days. If you do different. And I don't care what routine everybody's doing, but decide what you're doing for 100 days. Write it down, define it. I put my smash in the comments, shift, measure, adjust, shit happens. Go back, shift, measure, adjust. So decide what you're doing, write it down, tell the group, tell a friend, invite a friend. Let's start doing it, guys. Sam, you'll
Cool.
wrap up?
Yeah, man. We'll see you guys next Tuesday, and you better come with something you did this week that we're about to embark on. Don't show up doing nothing. That ain't what this group's about. It's dude reset, not dude I'm gonna fucking chill out and watch. Like reset. I got some shit I need to change. It don't have to be everything, but none of us are walking around perfect. So check it at the door and come in vulnerable and watch what can happen to you. I promise. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna hit the finish button, man. Thanks, fellas.
See you guys. Thanks.
Appreciate y'all. Thanks.